Welcome to Cedarcroft. My name is Barbara, and I want to welcome you to this channel. If this is your first time here, come on in. We're getting ready to cook and we're going to have some fun. If this is not your first time here, welcome back. Come on in. Let's get started. So today we are going to be making a throwback recipe to 1971. And this was my neighbor, Miss Elsie's recipe when I was growing up in Baltimore. And we had some great neighbors. So Miss Elsie gave my mom this recipe. So let's get this going. This is called Miss Elsie's barbecue beef. Now, this was back in the day before Sloppy Joe was really popular. This is better than Manwich. It rivals it. So let's get started. The first ingredient is 3 pounds of ground beef. So what we're going to do is put everything in a big stock pot. Everything goes in here. And then we're gonna chop it up and stir it around, and we're gonna cook it and cook it and cook it until it all comes together. This is going to seem really odd, but you're going to really like the outcome of this recipe. So we're going to take 3 pounds of ground beef, and I've got 2 pounds here. When I got it home from the grocery, I split it up. I got a big pack. And I split it up and used my food saver. And I packed it up into different sizes, and just so happens I had a 1 and a 2 in the freezer, so that makes it convenient, doesn't it? So we've got 1 pound in there and 2 pounds in there. Let me get this out of the way. All right. And just because I am who I am, I want to wash my hands. Anytime I'm handling raw meat, I don't like to do things with raw meat on my hands. The next thing on our list is 18 ounces of chili sauce. So this is chili sauce. This is sauce that I got at the grocery store. Nothing special about it. Chili sauce. And let's use our spatula to get all that goodness in there. We don't want to waste any of the flavors that we're putting in here. Okay, the next thing is 18 ounces of water, right? Seems weird, doesn't it? Trust me, it works. 18 ounces of water. Okay. The next ingredient is 3 tablespoons of brown sugar. I'm just going to plop that in. 1 onion, diced. 1 teaspoon of salt. 1 teaspoon of pepper. 1½ teaspoons of ground mustard, and 1/4 teaspoon of cayenne pepper. 3 tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce, and 3 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. 1/4 cup of butter, which is equal to 1/2 stick of butter. That's all the ingredients that go into this Miss Elsie's barbecue beef. Now we're going to put it on the stove on a medium heat, and we're going to break up that meat and stir it up and cook it until we get a nice cooked consistency. The sauce is going to form, it's going to get thick and delicious. So what I like to do is break up the meat using a wooden spoon, a wooden spatula, whatever you want to call it, just a flat wooden sturdy something. And I'm just going to break up all this meat and start stirring it around. It is a nice, you know, meaty consistency. It's cooking and it will just take a little bit. I'm gonna leave my spoon right there and let it cook, and we'll come back in just a little bit when it is starting to brown up and get nice and thick and delicious. As you can see, it is bubbling away and it is starting to make a sauce. It's still very watery. And so what we're gonna do is just continue to stir it. I have it on medium right now, but I think I'm going to turn it down just a tiny bit. I still want it to boil. I want it to boil with the lid off so that the sauce will evaporate and get thicker. Okay, so the meat is done. And I wanted to show you what it looks like in the pan, because do you remember when we put all of that liquid in the pot? And you were probably thinking, because I know I was thinking it too, that is really, really loose. It's just so watery. How is it ever going to come together? But look, this meat is really delicious. And I just want to show you what it looks like. Watch. When I pull this spoon through, you can see the pot. Do you see that? There's no moisture, there's no water in the bottom. I have cooked it enough so that this meat is perfect. Let's do a taste test. Okay, so I have a slice of my home-baked bread. I don't have any rolls, but that's okay. It's gonna taste delicious. And I'm going to put a little bit on there, a little bit of meat right in the center. Do you see how it holds up? Really nice. And I'm gonna spread it around a little bit. This is going to be so delicious. If your kids like Sloppy Joe, they're going to love this. Okay, here we go. Proof is in the pudding, or in the beef. Let's try it. Oh my goodness. Better than any Sloppy Joe you will ever eat. If you wanted, you could add some green peppers, green bell peppers in there. That would taste really good as well. That might take it up just over the top. Wow, this is so good. My mom got this recipe from Miss Elsie, our next door neighbor, in 1971. In 1971, my Uncle Larry, her brother, and my Aunt Charlotte got married. And so Mom helped cater the food for the wedding reception. And this was one of the food items that they made. And it is so good. So this is over 50 years old. It is definitely a vintage recipe, and you're definitely going to want to try it. Thank you for watching, and as always, thank you for joining me on this adventure as I go back to Cedarcroft.